Kamala Harris. Let's have a good debate.
Nice to see you. Have fun.
Thank you.
The highly anticipated ABC presidential debate between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump is now in the history books. Let's take a look back at some of the most memorable moments from the debate and reflect on them together in this video.
A lot of towns don't want to talk about it because they're so embarrassed by it. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame.
ABC News did reach out to the city manager there. He told us there have been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals within the immigrant community.
Well, I've seen people on television.
Let me just say here, this is
the people on television say my dog was taken and used for food. So
Trump brought up a claim that migrants are eating the cats, dogs, and pets of American citizens. And to me, that was the most absurd thing I had ever heard in any of the presidential debates in American history. And it comes to me as no surprise that that was a conspiracy theory that Trump brought up. And it's very unfortunate because it once again proved that mindset of Trump, that he can be very ignorant at times and he can make claims that are baseless, that are ignorant. And I feel that is Trump's biggest weakness, a weakness that is not often talked about, but it is a very unfortunate weakness when it comes to Donald Trump.
She was big on defund the police. In Minnesota, she went out. Wait a minute, I'm talking now. If you don't mind, please. Does that sound familiar? She went out.
Sounds familiar? That was a fantastic moment in the debate. It was a clear and total deja vu from the vice presidential debate that took place years ago between Kamala Harris and Mike Pence, where Kamala kept telling Pence,
Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking. I'm speaking. I'm speaking.
Be important if you said the truth.
Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking. I'm speaking. Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking. I'm speaking.
Trump definitely remembered that moment, and we all knew that Kamala Harris and her campaign wanted the mics to be unmuted so she could do the same to Donald Trump. But unfortunately, Trump hit her with her own statement in this debate.
Wait a minute, I'm talking now.
It was fantastic. I could not help but laugh out loud when it happened, and it was a clear win for Donald Trump.
The previous governor of West Virginia, not the current governor, is doing an excellent job, but the governor before, he said the baby will be born and we will decide what to do with the baby. In other words, we'll execute the baby. Her vice presidential pick says abortion in the 9th month is absolutely fine. He also says
abortion was undoubtedly a very controversial and crucial topic in this debate. But unfortunately, instead of discussing both the sides, Trump kept repeating the false claim that some states allow abortions to be performed after a baby is born, even after being fact-checked that there is no state in America that allows for such a procedure. It is very unfortunate when a presidential candidate tries to win an election based on false claims and pure lies.
And understand what has been happening under Donald Trump's abortion bans. Couples who pray and dream of having a family are being denied IVF treatments.
Vice President Harris,
excuse me, I have to respond. Another lie. It's another lie. I have been a leader on IVF, which is fertilization. The IVF, I have been a leader. And the other thing, you should ask, will she allow abortion in the 8th month, 9th month, 7th month?
Come on.
Okay, would you do that? Why don't you ask her that question?
Trump announced earlier his plans to make IVF free for all. He said that he would mandate the private insurance to pay for IVF treatments, or he would have the government pay for those treatments. It was quite unfortunate that this topic was not discussed at length during the debate. I was really looking forward to it. I wanted to know how Trump would actually make this happen. It sounds like a revolutionary idea to me, and I'm in full support of IVF. And the fact that they want to make it more accessible to the American public is fantastic. I found it very unfortunate that IVF was given really no spotlight and it was not discussed during the debate. I'm not sure if this was done because ABC did not want to give Trump the limelight, but I found it quite sad that the topic was not discussed.
The president at the time invited the Taliban to Camp David, a place of storied significance for us as Americans.
Oh snap. This was the moment where I felt Kamala dug her own grave. She should have done a little more research because Trump totally owned her right after she said that. Take a look.
If you take a look at that period of time, the Taliban was killing our soldiers, a lot of them, with snipers. And I got involved with the Taliban because the Taliban was doing the killing. That's the fighting force within Afghanistan. And Abdul is the head of the Taliban. He is still the head of the Taliban. And I told Abdul, don't do it anymore. You do it anymore, you're going to have problems. And he said, why do you send me a picture of my house? I said, you're going to have to figure that out, Abdul. And for 18 months, we had nobody killed. We did have an agreement negotiated by Mike Pompeo. It was a very good agreement. The reason it was good, we were getting out. We would have been out faster than them, but we wouldn't have lost the soldiers. We wouldn't have left many Americans behind, and we wouldn't have left $85 billion worth of brand new, beautiful military equipment behind.
So look, Kamala Harris, it was quite obvious. She was trying to tell the American people about the possible relationship between Donald Trump and Taliban. But it seemed like she didn't do her entire research because Trump, he had a big smile on his face while Kamala was making those claims, and Trump immediately cleared up the air and he said, I met up with the Taliban leader Abdul, and for the next 18 months, not one American soldier was killed because they were able to negotiate, and Trump was able to negotiate with him. When Kamala said nothing in response to that, it was quite clear that what Trump said was true. He met up with that Taliban leader because he wanted to negotiate and make sure that the American soldiers were not hurt. And it proved to us, and it proved to me, that Trump is a great negotiator. And when he says that he can stop the war between Ukraine and Russia, it kind of makes sense to me, because with his negotiation skills, if he can negotiate with Taliban, he can definitely negotiate with Putin. So to me, that was an absolute home run for Donald Trump.
She is Biden. The worst inflation we've ever had. A horrible economy because inflation has made it so bad, and she can't get away with that.
Thank you.
Clearly, I am not Joe Biden, and I am certainly not Donald Trump. And what I do offer is a new generation of leadership for our country.
Awful. I found that absolutely awful. Was Kamala really trying to separate herself from her president, Joe Biden? I think she's forgetting that the current administration is not just the Biden administration, it is the Biden-Harris administration. So she's equally responsible for the economic situation that America is in right now. Kamala is equally responsible for it. So for her to try to separate herself from Biden was absolutely, I felt it was uncalled for. And it just scared me a little bit, because if she can conveniently run away from Biden, then who knows, maybe tomorrow she will find another way to run away from her problems and maybe run away from the American people.
And I'll tell you what I would do, and I would be very proud to do it. I would say we would both leave this debate right now. I'd like to see her go down to Washington, D.C. during this debate, because we're wasting a lot of time. Go down to, because she's been so bad, it's so ridiculous. Go down to Washington, D.C. and let her sign a bill to close up the border, because they have the right to do it. They don't need bills. They have the right to do it. The President of the United States, you'll get him out of bed, you'll wake him up at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you'll say, come on down to the office, let's sign a bill.
So, I actually found that quite funny, because during the debate, I too forgot that Kamala is actually the current vice president. And whatever she says she'll do when she becomes president, she still is in power. So she still can do a lot of the stuff that she says she'll do when she's president. So when Trump told her to go to the White House and get it done today, it actually made a little bit sense to me. Why not? I mean, she is still in power, isn't she?
I was an attorney general, a United States senator, and now vice president. I've only had one client, the people. And I'll tell you, as a prosecutor, I never asked a victim or a witness, are you a Republican or a Democrat? The only thing I ever asked them, are you okay? And that's the kind of president we need right now.
By saying she's going to do this, she's going to do that, she's going to do all these wonderful things. Why hasn't she done it? She's been there for 3.5 years, and they're destroying our country. The worst president, the worst vice president in the history of our country.
Strong closing statements from both Donald Trump as well as Kamala Harris. Overall, I found the debate to be quite nice, mature, and civilized. If you compare this debate to the debates that we had previously between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, there was a lot of name calling, lots of back and forth shots. We didn't really get any of that during this debate, even though Kamala did call Trump out for the apparent name calling, which he really didn't do during this debate. Trump acted quite calm. He acted quite mature. No personal remarks were made. No name calling, from what I understand, was done. Whenever I watch these debates as an outsider, I try to have no bias whatsoever and listen to both the candidates with open minds. Based off tonight's debate, I cannot say which candidate is better or worse. Both, I feel, have their flaws, both have their weaknesses, both also have their strengths. Donald Trump is a good communicator. He's a good negotiator. Let's not forget, under Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, the world is literally blowing up. But also, let's not forget, Donald Trump has really not also been a messenger of peace, right? Things also went out of control under the Trump presidency. We cannot forget that either. So let's see what happens. We still have a couple months before the elections. I will be keeping a close eye on the candidates and what they do moving forward. And of course, we will be talking all about it right here in this channel. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe button, and also comment down below your thoughts on tonight's debate. I will be reading all the comments and I will be replying and writing to all of you. Once again, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for watching this video and listening to me, and I will see you in the next video.